This is the JBL Bandbox Trio. It's a 4-channel mixer with built-in guitar effects, an audio interface, a Bluetooth speaker, and it's got a very special trick up its sleeve. You know those apps where you can load in one of your favorite songs and then remove the guitar track and then play along yourself, making a backing track out of the original song? Well, this amp does that for you. Let me show you what I mean. Ah, hello. Just connected my phone via Bluetooth, and now we go into the Bandbox Trio. It goes to the loading screen, and we'll go over that in a moment. But what I'm interested in right now is Stem AI. I've got it turned on, and I brought the guitar and the vocal down. I've also got the pitch shifter up 1, in an attempt to not upset the YouTube gods with the music I'm about to play. Right, I'm streaming from my phone because I have to screen record the iPad. The sound of the guitar in that part I enjoyed. The jamming with the original track, really cool, because you get those original drums, the original brass, and it's all being dealt with in this little box. And when I say little, I mean little. It's only about 6.5 kilograms, which is about 14.5 pounds. It's barely bigger than my massive hands, and it's got this lovely rubber handle on top. The whole thing feels premium. It looks premium. I mean, look at it. These buttons are straight taken off the JBL party boxes, and it feels very much in that family. This is 135 watts. It is pretty loud. You might notice there's no microphone in front of the amp just here. There's a line out on the back, and that's going directly into my audio interface, and I'm combining that signal with my SR3D ear microphones to recreate the sound that I'm hearing in the room the best I can. I thought the wrong thing here was to put a mic up close and get it really up there and get an in-your-face sound. I wanted you to understand what it was like to be in the room with me. Now, as guitar players, we're going to want to know what the guitar sounds sound like, but I'll dive into that in a moment, and there are chapters in this video to deal with that. Let's first take a look at the top panel. We've got channel 1, which is a XLR combi jack input, so you can put a mic in there or something else with a jack. Channel 2 is the same. Channel 3 is the guitar input, which is where we have all our lovely effects just here. And then channel 4 is the Bluetooth music or the aux in. This also has a USB-C socket on the back for PD charging, so you can power the thing from USB-C or charge it from USB-C. Inside is a chargeable battery, which takes about 3 hours to charge, and it lasts for up to 10 hours. And so far I've been jamming on it for about 3 days, and it's still at about 70–80%, which is nuts. So I've got some fair use out of it at a good volume so far. This is our power button. This is our main function knob, which is a rotating knob and a pushy knob as well. So in this part, it is a main master volume. And you can use it for selecting stuff. Try not to cover the screen with my hand there. Right, you can also have the Stem AI turned off and on here, so I can have the original track turned back on and deleting all my guitar and vocal removal. Going into the mixer gives us this mixer option. And as you should be able to see, that's the combi, that's the jack input, that's the Bluetooth, and that's our main volume right there. 1, I haven't got anything plugged in. 2, nothing plugged in. Channel 3 is my guitar. And I can affect all the different settings by turning these knobs here. That's also a pushy knob, but it doesn't always do something. When it goes green, it means it's not as it was in the preset that's saved. Then we've got bass, middle, treble, as you'd expect on a guitar. If we do this, it will change the preset. So it's extremely intuitive and really easy to use, which I guess is one of the main functions of this thing, because it is probably aimed at people who want to play weddings and things like that and want to maybe jam at the beach or in the street, or busking. I mean, this would be great for busking if you want to play along with backing tracks. And with the Stem AI, you can make your own backing tracks and you can jam to your heart's content. Before I go through the sounds, there are some tools and utilities in there, and the one that I need right now is the tuner. So I can tune my guitar. If it isn't in tune, oh, it seems to be. Oh, but I particularly like the tuner on the app. Although that is quite satisfying when it goes green and tells me that it's... Come on, yes. See, that feels like a well done Andy. If I do the remainder of this with the app, you'll see how pretty the app is as well. So let's screen record. So we get into the Bandbox Trio there, and there's tuner just here. I'm going to put that on my lap. In fact, I'm going to change that headstock to a 6-in line because it confused me earlier and I tried to tune a tuning peg that wasn't there. So here we go, tuning with the on-screen tuner on my phone. This is kind of gamified because you'll notice that the circles on the left-hand side are starting to go green, meaning that they are completed. So I don't know if JBL have meant to gamify this section, but it does feel a bit like a game. You can also, in the tuner section, customize the tuning. So I can go drop D, full step down, half step up, and you can take a look at all that. For some reason, half step down is all the way at the bottom, which doesn't make much sense to me, but it's there. I couldn't find it earlier. You can also go to chromatic tuning if you don't want to do guitar strings, and you can change your reference pitch if you're into earth tones. And then you can have an in-tune sound effect. Oh, that's even more gamified. It played a little sound from my phone. Bink! I like that, but I'm going to turn it off now. On the screen now, it says that the app is controlling it. I can take back control by pressing that and come out of the tuner by holding the big old fat button down. I'm absolutely wrong there, and I've done this a few times. That's not how you do it. You press the channel button. So we're going to go back to channel 3. Right. I'll run through a few presets now to show you what's in there. This is Soulful Verb. It's loud, it's full, there's a little bit of crunchy edge to it. I quite like that preset. What else should we go for? What about vintage trem? I feel the trem needs to be a bit faster, so I can edit that on the amp itself by going to modulation, just there, and then speed. There's something there that could really work on a few things. Pressing channel 3 to get back, and we're switching. I want something disco twang. What is that? That one feels a bit too dirty to be twangy. What else have we got? Queen's Crown. That's got to be Brian May, hasn't it? I fear if I had some humbuckers, that might queen up a little bit. Brit Crunch, that sounds like a Marshall. Right, There's a bit of an elephant in the room that I've kept from you, and that is, I don't think the sounds of the guitar from this are very good. I think it is at its weakest point. The whole box, when you play music through it as a Bluetooth speaker, sounds phenomenal. It will fill a room. It will feel like you are having a party. The fact that you can plug a guitar into it is amazing. However, JBL have spent a lot of time on this AI stem separation, and it seems not enough time on the guitar effects because they're quite lackluster. The clean stuff seems pretty nice. In fact, let me just let me reinforce that statement. If that was in a full band mix, that would sound fine. However, going back to the rock, in fact, I'm going to build my own setting to prove that it's not just a preset thing. Right, we're still on tuner. Let's get out of that, and we're going to go into preset. There we go. And which one am I going to change? Others. Oh, there's a bypass mode. All right, let's change the Brit one. You push that up, and then that up, and that up, and that up. So we're going to start from fresh. We're kicking the noise gate by putting it down. And this is also weird. When you go into the knob and you pull the knob down as you would on a pedal, the value goes up. So I see what they're trying to do, but as a guitar player, that's weird. So it's counterintuitive. All the way up. Let's set the threshold at around 20 for now. Now we don't want a compressor. I don't want an auto wah. I want to turn on the UK crunch. I'm going to try and get put it down. There we go. Tap it to go in and just bring the drive down. I think we're overcooking it a little bit. Start off at around 50. See, counterintuitive. And then we're going to go into the cab, pull that down. What do I want there? UK 255. What else have we got? Have we got a 4x12 there? Meebo 4x12. Okay, I don't know what, Mesa Boogie? Yes, of course that would be Mesa Boogie. And then we'll stick some reverb on it. Oh. Down. What does that sound like without even trying? Admittedly, that sounds better, but I think we can do better. I think it needs a bit more clarity, going backwards again, and a bit less bass. Being born from a range of Bluetooth speakers, there is a lot of bass going on in this thing. And I guess that's the nature of the beast, of the consumer Bluetooth thing. Try it again. It still doesn't sound anywhere real enough for me. There's also no drive pedals. Let's just try pulling that drive down even further. Still not happy with it. Still sounds lackluster. Unbelievable. Sure does look pretty though. Right, I could change some of the settings on the top of the app. That might make it... Wait a minute. Is it? Right, I haven't saved the patch. That's what the problem is. Save it. There we go. Now, Let's see if I can do some good on the amp itself. So channel 3, if I tap that, it'll give me this screen up here, or this part of the screen I should say. G and T, or G80? Or am I just thirsty? Gate, right. Let's change the compressor. So change the drive. If I tap the big button, it'll give me, there we go, more stuff I can edit. Bring down, and I do like that you can do it on the amp itself, not just the app. Let's change the cab, see if that makes a difference. Not to a bass amp. 1964 by 12. Let's try a Tanger, an orange. Oh no, that's horrible. A Vox with a KS. I'm not going to be able to get away from the fact that I don't think these sounds are wonderful, especially the drives. High gain, let's do high gain. I think that might be a bit more easier for the palette. High gain lead. Oh dear. I need a noise gate for that. Right. I was going to touch the screen then. There is no touch screen. All right. Noise gate's good. That just sounds like a fluffy, woolly mess. Okay, let's get rid of some of that nasty bass. Bring the gain down as well, or the drive as they're calling it. Let's give it some clarity. See if that's better. That is better, that's more enjoyable, but it still sounds small and boxy. It could be because it's coming from a box. So no, none of the built-in sounds are going to blow your quad cortex or your boutique tube amp out of the water. But I almost forgive that because it has some other cool features in it in the tools section. Let's talk about the looper. So tuner, drum, looper. So let's go from the left. Looper, drum, tuner, metronome, display brightness, very tooly, display flip, that's very cool. So if you do this, it'll turn it upside down, which if you're from the back of the amp is very useful, and I wish everything did that because it is possible on any digital display. Language, no, let's stay in English, shall we? And software version, that's my software version if you're interested, and a factory reset. I did that as I got it out of the box just in case. Let's go to the app now because it is a lot prettier and a lot easier to use on the app. In fact, let's come away from that high gain preset, then we won't be so noisy. There we go, funky mouth. To the phone. I'm not sure if things are going to change as I alter them on the screen as well, so let's just have a look. But here is the looper, and that's your looper screen. I don't think, no, it didn't change on the screen itself. The looper is fun as a looper, but more fun when you add a drum beat. Which on its own is not that inspiring. When you use it as a looping tool, it really is. Check this out. much fun is that? So pretty much instantly it's synced. There was a bit of a jump at the beginning of the loop I noticed. I don't know why that is, maybe because I'm doing it with Bluetooth, but once the loop had ran a few times, it was in sync and perfect. What if I can change the sound of the amp over top of the loop? So let's play the loop again. Yes, you can. And I wasn't expecting it to do that, if I'm honest. Really cool. Okay, now this is what I mean about the guitar sounds not being great, but being good enough. Like, if that was to have, let's use the example, quad cortex level of modeling and stuff in there, this would be a whole lot more expensive than it is. And it is already quite a big chunk of change. I think it's coming in at around 600 notes. And that is a lot of money for just an amp. But if you factor in the fact that it's also a party box that would be pretty great as a Bluetooth speaker on its own, there's probably $250 there. The looper and everything, it kind of makes sense almost. It's a bit of a painful price at 600. But if this solves everything you need with that AI STEM, what's it called? STEM AI, I got it around the wrong way, then this is a pretty darn good product. Talking about the STEM AI, I don't think I went in far enough with that STEM AI to tell you about the pitch shift. So I was playing that song at the beginning with a pitch shift on 1. So any track you play in, if you're playing in like a blues backing track or any backing track for that matter, and it's in A and you want it to be in G, you just do that. In fact, let's do that. So here's a simple backing track in A. And there we have it. I have a backing track in pretty much any key I want, which is great for practicing, for staying away from the keys that I like to go to push myself out of my comfort zone. And if you go too far, like 5 steps below or 5 steps above, it does tend to get a bit squiggly, but it still works. And I think that kind of sums this up for me. This is a first generation of its kind, and it is stepping into new guitar territory. And I was truly surprised to find out that JBL was stepping into the guitar market. It is not the company that I would have thought would have done this. I think it is the right company because, yes, this is first generation of this kind. And no, I do not think it's reached its potential yet, but it's a great start. The JBL Bandbox Trio is absolutely perfect if you play weddings, functions, small things where you want to plug in a guitar, have some backing tracks or some background music, and have a couple of microphones as well. If you're an acoustic artist and you want something small and lightweight and sturdy, I haven't mentioned possibly my favorite thing about the amp. It's these squidgy, rubbery corners, which I know is a ridiculous thing to have as my favorite thing about the amp, but the whole thing feels premium. This is metal. It does feel like it could get a little bit dented at some point, but these things, they're not on the, oh, they're on the back, they're on the back on the bottom. These things are brilliant. That is going to protect this amp a lot. And the handle as well is also rubberized. I urge you that if you see one in the wild, go and play around with the switches and buttons and the corners, because it will entertain and amuse you. So let's sum up my experience with the JBL Bandbox Trio. When I unboxed this and had an experience with it for the first time, I made a couple of mental notes and actual written notes, which I've got in front of me just here. And the first thing I noticed in preparing for this video was that this is extremely light. It's 6.5 kilos, about 14.5 pounds. The handle on it, everything makes it feel super portable. It does not feel like you're carrying something that can be that loud. The second thing The screen and the buttons and switches on it feel and look premium. Everything here is a joy to interact with. The only thing that I don't like about this is that the power button is a little bit too easy to turn off. If you were using this as a gig, that could accidentally get pressed if you have some fumbling hands. But generally speaking, I reckon you could throw this off quite a high cliff and it would not only survive, but it would come back and ask you to do it again. It seems built very well. The battery in it is removable, so if you have a spare battery, if for some reason you want to go for longer than 10 hours, then you can replace the battery in it, which means that if this battery should ever fail, you haven't got a product that needs to be thrown away. So I'm a big fan of removable rechargeable batteries. Well done JBL for that. You can also run it on mains power and USB-C PD. My favorite thing about this is definitely the STEM AI separation of tracks. It works extremely well. There is no doubting that JBL have put a lot of work and effort into making sure this thing works. There are no monthly subscriptions, so once you've bought this, anything you put into it can be turned into a backing track. And I'm a huge fan of anything that is not subscription based. My second favorite thing is definitely the looper. Let's clear this one so we can go back to the main screen. And how intuitive it is. I love the fact you can combine the drums and then it counts you in. There did seem to be a little bit of latency when the loop restarts again, but I'm hoping that some firmware update will fix that, or it's just my experience here. And also, back to the STEM AI, there is a little bit of a latency there. So when you press any button on your Bluetooth device, you do have to wait 2 or 3 seconds for the box to do its magic. But that is fully acceptable considering how much processing is going on there. My third favorite thing is definitely the app. It is beautiful, it is easy to use. You can change everything on the fly. You can EQ pretty much everything. You can have your favorite guitar presets. You can have your tools available in the app itself. You can have your main control, so you can EQ the main output of the amp. The app is quite simply nice to look at, easy to use, and it does everything you want it to do without getting in the way. There's not too many hidden menus or menu diving, and the same for the amp as well. It's very well thought out. There are a few things that I would like to have been done differently, and that is round on the back. Where is it? There we go. Round on the back, if I unplug these cables, it's kind of hard to see in the dark. Just make sure you know where everything is, because instead of plugging your guitar in the guitar input, you could actually plug it into the microphone, which means the guitar effects would not work, but you get vocal effects. Or you could plug it in the pass-through, which is totally wrong. Let's have a look on the bottom of there, and if I flip that, there we go. Right, you should be able to see that coming out there. You unscrew this, and this is where the battery comes out. So you don't need any tools to do it either. Another plus point. Come on, baby. There we go. So there's the battery in there. Pull it out. It's quite small, actually. And pop another one in if you have another one. Wonder how much they are just for the battery. I do also like that JBL have included the battery, because being portable is part of it, but many brands also just don't include the battery, which is naughty. You should think about that when considering the price. Right, that is the Bandbox Trio from JBL. I'm not completely enamored because of the guitar sounds, but overall, that is a wonderful little package that, if you think the money is right, yeah, it's worth it. It wouldn't be my only guitar system in the world, but it's a darn fine practice unit and small performance unit. There's more information on this and its smaller brother, including up-to-date pricing in your region, in the video description. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!